Our reporter, Athi Mtongana, is in Cape Town at the moment. If you were with us a bit earlier on, the leader of the Democratic Alliance, Mmusi Maimane, addressed the crowd in Cape Town, and his focus right now is on safety and security and ensuring that the measures that are implemented in Cape Town will perhaps go beyond the 3 months of military deployment. Athi Mtongana is joined by DA leader Mmusi Maimane. Very good afternoon to you, Athi. Before we speak to the leader of the Democratic Alliance, won't you give us a quick summary of what it is that he highlighted in his speech this afternoon?
Well, he is right now still in the presence of residents from Bonteheuwel who are constantly faced with high levels of crime, in particular gangsterism. And so they, as the party of the Democratic Alliance, have felt the need to come out today, do a walkabout and engage with the residents. Of course, you may know that the Western Cape is one of the provinces that has the highest number and the highest level of gangsterism in the country. And so, as you may know, the SANDF recently deployed into the hotspot areas to try and combat the high level of murders in this province. As you may know, that over the past couple of weeks, we've seen the death of over 40 people. And so it is what residents in Cape Town call an emergency and a crisis. Now, let's get reaction from the DA leader, Mmusi Maimane. You were just addressing the people as they're still standing before you. And what kind of measures, other than the SANDF being deployed, because we do understand that they will only be here for 3 months?
We've set up an NST unit, and ultimately that unit, we know that police visibility is absolutely crucial. We've got to be able to get into communities so that people know that there's a strong level of law and order. It ensures that it fights crime in those communities. It attends to drug-related crime and also gangsterism. Furthermore, we are always of the complete view that the future of crime fighting in our country requires that we strengthen policing. And that's why we've called for a provincial police force, because we think that police must be better trained, better capacitated and better resourced, because ultimately you can ensure that we are much more sustainable in fighting crime. I welcome the deployment of the South African National Defence Force, and ultimately it's a short-term measure to be able to ensure that we don't replace the work of police, but we bring stability in a community where we're seeing high levels of murder and our citizens are being attacked. And I would call that ultimately we need to take the war to crime all across the country. We cannot, as citizens, be comfortable with watching people being gunned down and watching murder rates go up. It is completely unacceptable. It is not what will help this country. It doesn't help investment. It neither doesn't keep our citizens safe. Let us take the war to crime, and I'm committed to making that fight happen.
What are you hearing from the residents as they are out here? What kind of engagements are you having with them, and what are they telling you with regards to what they are constantly faced with here in Bonteheuwel?
Look, I have been coming to communities like Bonteheuwel and different ones, and I mean, I'm saddened to learn, obviously, about the gunning down of the policemen over this weekend and the 2 fellow officers who were also attacked, and I send my deep condolences to the community. But the community itself, furthermore, wants to know what responses they want. How do we help to make sure people are safe on trains? How do we ensure that ultimately police presence is there to protect them? Because we don't want to be living in communities that gangs run communities. We've been hearing in certain communities that people are saying services can't be delivered because gangs block what needs to happen there. So we need a change, and we need a much more stronger law enforcement agency to come and continue the fight against crime.
Now, before I let you go, Mr. Maimane, just your response on the President's media briefing yesterday, where he was making pronouncements about the steps that he is going to take with regards to the Public Protector's report.
It is well within the President's right to challenge the Public Protector's report, and he must take it on judicial review. I will await that judicial review. What is going to be absolutely crucial is that Parliament must do its own job in this regard. Remember, the question really pertains to whether the President misled the Parliament or not. And therefore, it is the reason we made the report to the Public Protector is that in law, it is the only institution we can report the matter to. And now that that's been done and that has been challenged, we will await the judicial review. But furthermore, the affidavit that I held in Parliament, that speaks to the fact that the president had in fact received money and that his son had benefited in the contract, must still be investigated. Because furthermore, we must know where that money was channeled to and how it got there. So these investigations must continue, and therefore I'll await in the urgency that the application that the president has put forward, what the outcome thereof is and where we take this matter going forward.
All right, thank you very much. The leader of the Democratic Alliance, Mmusi Maimane, of course, is now going to continue with his walkabout here in Bonteheuwel with residents here. And as you may know, the DA has said previously that they want an ad hoc committee formed in Parliament that will be able to call the President before Parliament to answer about the reports of the Public Protector. And of course, they were saying that they want him sanctioned and they want tough measures to be taken by Parliament for the reports that have come out from the Public Protector's office.
Athi, it must be quite a blow for the community, the fact that there have been attacks on, police members and members of the police. What is the general sentiment there? Are they feeling any less safe now?
Well, they're out in their numbers. You might know that police are trained to obviously engage and be in incidents where they becomes a shootout between them and the suspects. We do know that the suspect that actually went out to shoot at the 3 officers is currently apprehended. They were able to get hold of him, and so they are right now on the streets continuing with what they want to do, of course, combating crime in areas like Bonteheuwel. Bonteheuwel is one of those many communities that are faced with high levels of gangsterism. It was not so long ago where we saw a shutdown where the community took matters into their own hands by shutting down the community and trying to make their voices heard, and that of course ended up in clashes between the residents themselves and the police. And one thing that they kept on reiterating as the residents is that it is surprising for them that when they take action of that nature, they see a huge number and a huge deployment of police on the ground. But when they want the police to attend to matters of crime within the community, they are nowhere to be found. But of course, the DA now out this afternoon to say that they will try to enforce stricter measures to be able to combat crime in and around Bonteheuwel, and of course other communities here in Cape Town that are faced with high levels of gangsterism.